Hi, I'm Brandon Poe, founder of Poe Group Advisors and creator of the Accounting Practice Academy. You are listening to the Accountant's Flight Plan podcast, where we talk about stuff in the accounting world. If you're looking to buy or sell a practice, we are the premier accounting practice intermediary firm in the industry. Check us out at PoeGroupAdvisors.com. If you're a firm owner looking to build a more profitable practice while actually reducing owner hours, sign up for our practice management workshop, which only runs a few times per year. Learn more at accountingpracticeacademy.com. Welcome to the Accountant's Flight Plan podcast. I have a wonderful guest today out of Plano, Texas, Susan Bryant. She's a CPA and certified tax coach. She's the co-owner and principal of MB Group, which is a CPA firm headquartered out of Plano, where she works alongside her business partner and talented team to make public accounting awesome again. I love that. MB Group has a people-first focus, which I really want to get into with all the staffing challenges people have. And they landed the firm on the prestigious Inc. magazine's Best Workplaces lineup for 2022, with a special article highlighting how they're humanizing accounting work and creating an environment that accelerates each employee towards their professional and personal goals. Susan considers herself to be a fierce advocate for the accounting profession. It's earned her a spot in Ignition's 2021 Top 50 Women in Accounting. She's also a member of the Accounting Influencers Roundtable and a frequent guest on business and accounting podcasts. Welcome, Susan.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, this is interesting and a very timely topic, because so many accounting firm owners that I speak with, one of their biggest challenges is finding and retaining good, talented people. It seems like it's just becoming a bigger problem as we go.
It is. It's interesting because when we won that award, I thought, oh, this is gonna be so great because we're gonna have people lining up. It's gonna be really awesome. Oh, yeah. Well, think again, right? It's public accounting. People don't line up for this profession for some reason.
Yeah.
And then we just got named this week one of Dallas's the best places to work. So it really tells me that we're doing the right thing in terms of creating a workplace where people are at the center of what it is we do. I mean, we are a professional services firm. I mean, people have got to be a primary focus here, both from a client standpoint and from a employee standpoint. It's all people first, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it is a big deal, but we've spent a lot of time now. We're really kind of going back to basics and saying, you know what, let's go find people who are hungry for opportunity. Like people who just like, somebody please take a chance on me. Like I've got determination, I've got perseverance, I'm eager, I want to learn, I'm hungry for an opportunity. Like we can teach you the accounting. We can teach you we can put you in a tax prep assistant position, but we're going to have to go explore, like it's all the things, gone are the days of, oh, let's just make this experience higher and it solves all our problems. Like it just doesn't work that way anymore. It's offshore, new people, college grads, experienced people. I mean, the unconventional hires. I mean, we just got to go all different directions.
I love what you said about that, because our most recent hire, we were in a kind of final interview stage, and she said, I really want to work here. This is where I want to work. And I knew she was going to be a keeper, and she has been. So it's like you want to see that keenness, that appetite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need these people to really be hungry to soak up everything we're going to share them. I mean, we're going to coach them, mentor them, grow them professionally. We're going to equip them with skills that are literally going to set them up for life.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to start telling them. Like, this is not a place where you're just going to come here and this is going to be a job and it's 9 to 5 and, ho hum, and you're just processing tax returns or you're just kind of a number. We want you to make a difference, and that's a big shift in messaging for public accountants.
Wow. Well, let's talk briefly about how you got into accounting. I'd love to hear. I always like to ask people, like, when did you decide to become a CPA, and what was your career like that brought you to, becoming an owner of a firm in the Dallas area?
Yeah. So this is, have you seen that meme before where it shows like, this is where you are, and then this is success, and then it's like this really wiggly line that goes like 100 different directions. So that's pretty much how I got into public accounting, and that's been pretty much my career in public accounting. I've gone 100 different directions. So when I started off in college, I have a degree in marketing. That's what I got my degree in. The people in the Career Center told me that if I had just 6 more hours of accounting, however, I would get a much better paying job. And I was under a significant pressure from my mother to hurry up and graduate college and get a job and start supporting myself, because she was not happy about having to pay all my bills during college. It was getting real expensive. I was one of 3 kids. So it was the last kid out the door, hurry up and start making your own money. So when I started taking accounting classes, I was always kind of good at math and I liked it. So I kept going. And then I fell in with some people who were actual accounting majors, and we just kind of got along. We had a good rapport. We studied together. They went on to complete the 5-year program, but I was sort of left behind because I wasn't in the MPA program. And so they got to take graduate classes, and I went to UT Austin. And at that time, I really couldn't enroll in graduate classes without being a graduate student, even though I was really kind of trying to pursue this. So at any rate, I finally just got enough hours and sat for the CPA exam when I was an internal auditor at a bank. At my first job out of college, passed the CPA exam and went to work for a really small firm not far from where I lived. I didn't know what a trial balance was when I started. Okay. So and I'm thinking back, this has come up in some frequent recent conversations. Like, I can't even believe that guy hired me. So clearly he saw in something in me that I didn't see in myself. And I'm sure as heck glad he did take that chance on me because it's been a really awesome career. I've done everything, tax returns and tax planning now, and coaching and accounting. I started our accounting services practice. I've been an auditor, deep M&A, due diligence, you name it, done it all. And boy, have I learned a lot.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you like a lot of variety. I mean, you definitely experienced a lot of variety, which is awesome. I think for people who are thinking about like planning a career, I see it with a buyer on the, as someone who sells practices. If someone's got that variety of experience, it just makes them so much more well-rounded and being able to advise clients. It's just very powerful.
Yeah, I agree. I think it influences a lot of we try to be innovative here at the MB Group, even coming up with, just strategic, I want to say just scheduling, right? How we do what it is we do and the frequency and the cadence which we follow. That's just something that I create based on sort of what I think the client needs and when. And a lot of that is really sort of driven by what I think our business needs and when.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, I'm using our firm as sort of a guinea pig and testing out some of these things like, hey, let's do something different here. Let's try doing this. And we'll try it out and see how it works. And if it does, then we know, okay, let's apply that to our cadence that we follow for our business owners. Let's kind of see what that looks like and integrate that into some of the advisory services we're doing. So It does drive, it's just more business oriented than it is practitioner focused. Maybe I should say it that way.
Yeah. It's, well, while we're on this topic, like I always ask my guests, like, what advice do you give someone who's starting a firm or maybe stagnant in their firm? What advice would you give?
Raise your prices a lot. Number one, oh my goodness. Even us, we still are doing this, going back and oh my gosh, why is this so low? Even stuff I quoted and we did proposals on in January. Now it's September and we're saying, wow, we would never price it like that. And even 9 months later, we just wouldn't, it completely changes. So I'd say raise prices, make sure you do not give your services away. Don't give anything away for free. Get hired before you give advice.
Yeah. One of the quotes, I wrote a book way back in 2010 called Accountant's Flight Plan, which this podcast is named after. And one of the quotes from that is in that book is, if you don't like your practice, raise your prices until you do, which is it's such good advice. Like it's because it does take care of a lot of things that trickle. Well, it gives you the money to hire good staff for one.
Amen. And get better technology, get a better space, hire and get a nice computer, get better equipment. I mean, so many things. Be able to advertise more and go get better clients, move upstream. I mean, takes money to make money, right?
Yeah.
So charge
Yeah.
people more. And I know accountants have this, self-esteem problem anyway. I don't know why. I mean, I did a session yesterday. We're a member of HEN. It was women in business talking about, experience at CPA firm being a woman. And, it is just like, I don't know what it is. Like we're people pleasers, we don't want to disappoint people, for sure. And almost to the point of like being a martyr, like, I mean, there's this weird, I don't know, it's some mental thing that we have as accountants, and we just gotta like put that bag of bricks down, guys. You know what I mean? Like set it down, don't pick it back up, just charge people more and move forward. If they
Yeah.
can't afford your services, don't feel bad. You don't have to project your insecurities onto them or them onto you. You don't just if they can't pay it, it's okay. They'll find somebody who they can afford. It's okay.
Yeah. You don't have to give charity all day long. Like you're not running a charity, you're running a business.
I know, Brandon, but you've worked with how many accountants, and we just feel bad. We're like, oh, but it's a little old lady. And oh my gosh, they really need help. And I really know how to solve this problem. And so I'll just get it done real fast and I'll do it cheaper than I could. I mean,
It won't take long, right?
it won't take long. Yeah. Only just, 50% longer than I estimated. That's all. And,
Yeah.
I'll basically be losing money, but that's all right.
Well, what aspect of traditional firm ideology do you think is worth getting rid of, and what should people replace from that, other than the pricing, the scarcity mindset, which is essentially what we're talking about there?
Mhm.
What other mindsets need to go?
Oh man. I think we should just maybe toss the whole thing out and start over again.
Yeah, there's a long list.
So much of it. Okay, so there's a few things that I'm super passionate about. I mean, the one thing is along the same lines of like the actual prices themselves is just pricing in general and how we bill. So we've gotten rid of the billable hour. We've eliminated it. We've moved strictly to value pricing. Everything's billed up front. We got rid of AR. Oh my gosh, collections. What collections? It's so easy now. We don't even have to worry about it. No more billing questions where people are like, but why did this take you 10 hours extra this month? And, but then it was, less 10 hours the next month and my bill goes up and down, and just got rid of so many questions. So that is one thing I think for sure that people got to rethink. And that's super progressive. I know that not everybody can do that. Larger firms, especially, like, how are you going to do that? Right. It is a monumental. Yeah. I know, but it is like, it's like moving a mountain for some firms.
I think the mountain is in the head though.
Yeah, very well could be. I mean, you just got to draw a line and start, right?
Yep. The mountain is in the head. That's where it is.
Well, I definitely think we left money on the table for a long time. And actually, did a disservice to ourselves because we were doing some really significant tax work for people on an hourly rate. I mean, saving people hundreds of thousands of dollars, especially when the QBI tax law, in the section 199A came out. I mean, we were being so strategic when other firms were just like, they hadn't changed anything. And we were just picking up all sorts of tax savings for our clients. And I would charge, okay, that was an hour of our time, $350. I mean, it's, I want to cry because that was a really bad business decision,
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's one. The other thing is this whole relationship maintenance. The partners in a lot of cases, like they maintain the relationships with the clients. Like it's almost like, and they're very siloed in larger organizations, right? So mine. And they're almost scared. I talk to a lot of attorneys, the same thing. Like, well, what if your staff takes the client and starts their own? Like, okay, well, as I want my people to have aspirations beyond just working for me. So I'll support them. So it's okay. I'm not going to have to pay them anymore and they're going to have to go do this work. So, I mean, sounds like a little bit of a fair trade. I'll support people who want to get into public accounting and run a firm. Good luck. Good luck. It's going to be hard. You will work harder for yourself than more than anyone else you've ever worked for. But I think the relationship piece, like we got to give people a chance to own the relationships, own the client relationships.
And one thing I've seen that helps owners kind of let go of that is if they do have a non-solicitation agreement from the staff. Like,
Yeah.
and that's fair to ask. It's fair to ask when you hire to have that in place. And one other caveat I'll say from, perspective of someone who sells firms is have that be assignable. So if you want to go sell your firm, because we do have buyers go, well, I'm worried about these people who have the relationship. I'm worried they might compete against me. And that's a valid concern in some cases. So that non-solicitation agreement that's assignable can really, I've seen that help practitioners let go a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
I can see that being helpful, right? I think a lot of it, that's outside the legal aspects of it, right? Or just feeling like maybe there's a monetary concern. A lot of it is mental, right? Like they're validated somehow by having these people need them. So like your identity is not your firm. You are not your firm. Just like you're going to have to sever that.
yeah.
It's not the same. And it's okay that people don't call you and you're not needed. I mean, go on vacation, enjoy it.
Yeah. It's great not to be needed, right? Like I don't want to be needed at all if I can help it, just
Right. I think that's called mailbox money is what that's
yeah.
called. So, all right.
Well, back to your Inc. magazine award. So you're voted best place to work. What do you do to create that work environment? Like what do you feel like? And just a caveat. So I used to feel like years ago, like people would talk about firm culture. And I thought, well, what does that mean? Like it's such a vague term. And how do you what does that look like? And now looking at it from a different perspective, I think it's everything.
I agree. So I think the first thing that we really started getting really clear on was just sort of like, what are we doing? What's the point of all this? Back to the whole Simon Sinek, like why? Why do we bother? Why do we bother getting up every day and coming to run the CPA firm? There has to be a reason, some type of motivator that's in all of us. And we sort of boil it down to like, there's basically 3 missions that we're on. Our primary business mission is really to transform these business owners, right? And their lives, because we know that we can literally change their financial future with the work that we do. We do great solid accounting. That's going to influence the enterprise value of their business. We save them tax dollars that influences the amount of money that they have for retirement or how much money they can reinvest into their business and accelerate that growth. I mean, like all this stuff works together. We have a way to make a tremendous impact and to literally change people's lives. And then if you like look further, like, okay, now they were able to grow their business and hire somebody. That person now put their kid through college. That person's kid goes to college. And then, I mean, like the ripple effect that we can send into the universe as accountants, right? So, I mean, it sounds so boring to so many people, but it's so big. The significance of our impact is massive. So showing people that vision, casting that vision for them to really say, this is what you're doing every day and correlate your daily tasks with that overall mission. So important.
I bet that does help you attract the kind of person you're looking for too, because
sure.
The person that is on board with that is going to be a different sort, right?
Totally. Well, they have a different vision for themselves, right? So we're not talking about somebody who they just want a job. They want to make a difference. They want to have this purpose and fulfillment in their life. It is more meaningful to them to wake up every day and do something that's worthwhile. And they're going to show up more. They're going to be more engaged, which means they're going to be more productive, which means it's going to be far more profitable for the practice.
Well, and I think too, a couple of things that accountants often underestimate is just how much knowledge they actually have of their client's business if they slow down and just pay attention. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody else in that client's life probably has that sort of privilege to that information, right? And
and they got to think about it, right? You got to stop and think.
Yeah. And it's like, and business owners are craving that insight that most accountants carry around and don't even and take it for granted, basically.
Yeah.
And and they're so busy doing busy work that they can't communicate those insights to their clients.
I couldn't agree more. 100%. So they're more focused on the past than they are the future. We got to get more focused on the future than the past. That's got to be one of the shifts that has to happen. This is a traditional firm ideology. It's another one of those things that has to sort of die in order for the profession to progress. So we got to get more interested in the future.
I just love how you're tying that to your hiring process and to your selection of staff process. Like that's awesome, because then the whole team, that whole energy is around the whole team, right?
Yeah, it's all correlated. I mean, we want people to be innovative thinkers. Oh my goodness, like the list goes on and on of the things that we really, really are passionate about pursuing. And it's not necessarily like, do you know how to use CCH fixed assets? Like, I mean, great, but that's awesome. I mean, we don't train you on how to enter fixed assets, that's awesome. But, it's really about far more than that. Can you think bigger?
Yeah. And, I always think too, when you implement value pricing, your mindset shifts for the client. Like, okay, if I'm going to price on value, I need to find value for the client so that I'm aligning my work toward what they value.
Yeah. I have found that sometimes if I ask that question to, my team, I'll say, okay, well, what's the value to the client? They're like, they have a hard time with that. But if I ask it, like, what's the business case for doing this work? A lot of times then they'll get them thinking in a different way. They're like, okay, well, let me think about that. Because, I don't want to go back and amend a tax return just because it needs to be, amended for some type of technical change. I've got to make a business case to the client for them to pay us $3,000. Oh, because they're going to get back 20. Now they're like, sure, I'm happy to do that. Let's do it. I mean, they might even pay more than 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, depending on how much they're going to get back. I mean, it's a business case. So we need to think about that way.
I like that question. I could see maybe a framed picture in your break room. What's the business case?
Yeah. I'm gonna make a note right now. I'll get on that.
Training. So you have a little bit of a unique take on training, I guess, onboarding and training people. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think any type of onboarding, customer, employee, both, it has to be an experience. This is really key. You got to be prepared for people when they walk in the door. You have to have a system by which they're going to learn. You have to have a pathway created for them so they know where they're going. And, 4 years from now, they're not going to look up and say, what have I just done for the last 4 years of my life? Right. They sort of know what their trajectory is, what track they're on and where they're going, what they want. And we're getting active feedback like on, okay, do you like working on this? Okay, you don't, let's move a different direction and help them pursue certifications, build their network. I mean, eventually they need a book of business. I mean, we want to help them build all these things because that is the future of the advisor. Like that's how you move them from preparer to advisor. You got to get them on that track. So training's a piece of it. Onboarding is the beginning of it, but you got to influence that all the way through their experience with you as an employer. We have to be more as employers.
Now, do you have a structure, do you have a structured meeting rhythm with your team? And can you share that, what that looks like?
So those meetings are happening departmental wise. They're happening at the leadership level. They're also happening on a project level, especially like back work and stuff that is sort of ongoing that has how that goes with clients, right? Things like we're missing this is dragging on. And then we follow a certain escalation procedure from there. But those conversations are happening sort of on a routine basis, operationally. And then we have mandatory training sessions. So there's training sessions that have to happen every single month. We have a book club. So we're encouraging people to read, mandating more now, reading books and presenting them to the firm. So, and what information we can apply to make our firm better. So we're really trying to work on a variety of different skills to help move them along.
Yeah, a lot of proactive bits in there to keep everything going. Now, a question, is that a shared responsibility among the partners, or is one particular person in charge of kind of like this whole culture and HR aspect of running the firm?
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's responsibility to keep the firm culture great. right? And to correct people and provide feedback, right? Hey, I'm not comfortable with that behavior. That's not the way we handle things here. This is not representative of our core values. I mean, so we want our team to be accountable to each other. But I think we're all equally responsible for that. I mean,
Yeah.
leaders probably bear a little bit more of that responsibility because we are looked to as the people who set the example. We're setting the tone. So we do have to, what is it like, independence, right? It's like appearance and fact. The same for culture, appearance and fact.
And
Same concept.
I've noticed, like, if you bring somebody in that doesn't fit the culture, you'll know it really fast because everybody on the team will know it. It's just you can feel it, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you got to get really good about getting rid of those people real fast.
Yeah.
So identify them and get them out quick because they will be toxic. They'll be like a virus in your organization and spread like wildfire.
And it can creep up without you realizing it's happening. It happens fast, right? Like it starts to creep and then it just, yeah, you're right. You got to get them out quick.
So we follow EOS. It's something that
We do too.
almost done implementing it. I mean, it's we're working on getting an implementer in here to take us to the finish line for implementation. But the people analyzer is really awesome and we have our people every year go through and do that, the people analyzer. So, I mean, we have 3 core values and then it's get it, want it, capacity for it. I mean, and sometimes it's enlightening and sometimes you're like, yep, it's exactly what I thought.
You talked a lot about the team and how you get the team inspired and a little bit touched on like what inspires clients, but can you talk more about that? Like, what do you feel like you guys do on the client side to get them fired up?
So one of the things that we do is we just get real curious. They like talking about themselves, they like answering questions. And so a lot of times what we do is we just let curiosity really lead to their clarity. If we ask enough questions, you'll start to see them really start to piece things together. Their brain, you'll see it on their face. Like they're really trying to answer your question and they're trying to formulate some type of clear response, big, puzzling out like, well, how exactly is that going to work? If I just said that, how is this going to work? Right. So it's beautiful because a lot of times these business owners, they have not stopped themselves to actually think about where it is they want to go, right? Or how much they want in revenue or how much they want in profit or how many employees or what is their trajectory for growth. They're going to add another product, line of business, whatever. They haven't even thought about it. They're just going. They're on the hamster wheel and they're just moving. They have no idea where it is they're actually trying to get to. So we just really get back to asking a ton of questions so that we get a better sense of what it is they're trying to accomplish. And then we can let all of our planning follow those clear goals. And once they have that clear conception of what it is they want, it's like a light switch. I mean, it's almost like the entire business just starts to evolve. I mean, you can almost feel the business change because they get a lot more intentional about what it is they're going to do.
Yeah. And the question is, what's the value of that? It's right.
It's like MasterCard or whatever, priceless, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, it's really valuable because it could change the entire trajectory of their business.
It should. Yeah. So, I mean, for our clients, we do everything in packages. So that service is only available in our best package. That's the only way that you can get it. So, yeah. I
love it. Well, how do you get people to abandon that do-it-yourself mentality?
Yeah, this is very challenging to me. And probably brings me the greatest frustration, especially on the accounting services side. The tax return side, not so much, right? People are pretty scared of the IRS, and that's enough to scare them into like hiring a tax preparer. But on the accounting side, Intuit's got this great messaging, like, just sign up for QuickBooks Online, and we can, all 3 clicks of the button, and woo, voila, a magic wand is waved, and your accounting is perfect. And as we all know, that is probably the furthest thing from the truth. Anything that people generally enter into from an accounting perspective and try to do themselves, they generally screw it up really badly. And it takes a lot more to fix it than it would have been just to do it right the first time. So, I mean, we try to catch business owners, especially at the beginning when they're setting up a business, and have a strategic session with them to just explain to them what they should be doing and how to do it. And that we go through and really just kind of use some logic with them. Like, You do not mow your own yard. You do not clean your own house. You don't change the oil in your car. Okay. But you think it's okay for you to do your own accounting. Like, that doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. And Terrell Turner, I don't know if you know Terrell, but he had a LinkedIn post several months ago. And I was like, Terrell, this is pure genius here. And it was that, people who are trying to do things themselves are putting themselves behind.
Mm-hmm.
You're delaying the achievement of the goal you want to do. And I thought, this is like exactly why people have got to get rid of this mentality. You are in your own way. Get out of your own way. Hire somebody to do it. Yeah.
Like quicksand. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll just, and you fall into this trap of thinking like, okay, I can do that myself. And then sort of, where does that bleed to? Okay, I'll do HR myself. Right. And then and then I can handle all the operations and all the employee onboarding, and then I'll take over the IT, and then I'll do this. And then before you know it, you're like, I want to scale to 100 people, but I'm about to have a nervous breakdown. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you have not figured out how to delegate because you haven't learned the importance of saying, I could do it myself. Sure, I could learn, but my time is better spent doing something else. And so I will pay someone else to do this task. Right. So I just see this. I mean, people come to us all the time and there's just so much pain. And we'll, of course, take the accounting from them, but it's really just a symptom of a larger problem. And that is a mentality that's all centered around, I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. And then they get into the whole martyrdom, little red hen martyrdom. That's where that goes, right?
Yeah. It's a scarcity mindset, right? It is.
It is. Yes, it is. So, okay, but I like that correlation. DIY equals scarcity mindset. So like we should have you got to have no more, right? Like the red with the line through it there.
Yeah. I love it. Well, it sounds like you're doing just an awesome job. Have you guys experienced a lot of growth in the last few years?
Tremendous growth. Yeah, it's really surprising, wonderful. I mean, as Ron Baker would say, your business is great, but we want more. We want to serve more business owners. We want to make, we know that what we're offering is different. We're helping so many people in better and different ways than other accountants. And I mean, it's so much fun. It's so much fun to really just change people's lives.
That's awesome. Well, so you have a marketing degree. Do you guys do a lot of marketing? Are you pretty heavy on the marketing side with your firm?
We are really heavy on the marketing. I would say we started about 3 years ago, which seems like a really long time ago when I think about that. But when we started with marketing, we had like zero content. Okay. We probably have the worst website. And I mean, I've seen a lot of bad CPA websites, but it was almost all CPAs, unless they're like, pretty large firms, have bad websites. So, we got on board with a marketing service based out of Philly and just started creating the content and posting to the sites. And then it has kind of sort of bled into, now we have, swag, and we have everything is branded that leaves this office. I mean, it has to follow all the brand guidelines. My people know that, from fonts to colors, the logos on everything, and that's the way it is. So we have to maintain our brand. It's really important.
That's awesome. Well, yeah. And I think firms that market, I talk to so many firms who are proud that they don't do any marketing. I mean, you actually are doing some marketing. Most everybody has a website, and it gives you the luxury of letting clients go that need to go. It gives you the luxury of, and marketing is, like your presentation to the world, your brand affects your hiring ability as well. It doesn't just go out to clients, it goes out to the world, which includes potential staff members.
Right. Well, the first thing you do, even when I get a tax return from a prospective client, what's the first thing I do? I Google the CPA, I go look at the website, I go look, who is this that this is coming from, right? I'm assessing my predecessor. That's the first thing I'm doing, right? Like, who are these people? Like, I can tell by their website going to be the quality of their work. I know how much they care about themselves and their clients, because how much effort they're going to put into showing the world who they are. There is a correlation there, right? There just is. So yes, it does influence you. The other thing is that people you get referred to someone, what are they going to do? They're going to go out to LinkedIn and they're going to look, is your picture from 1985 or is it current? Have they posted? What are they posting about? Are these relevant topics? Are they accomplishing things in their marketplace? I mean, people want to know. I mean, everybody wants to be a part of something special, right? You want to hitch your wagon to the train, whatever that's going somewhere, right? If they're helping all these other people to succeed, I want to work with the business owner, the CPA, who can help my business too, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to work with a CPA who doesn't know how to create a business. You want to work with a CPA who doesn't know how to build their own business.
I love it. I love everything you're talking about and what you're doing. And I just have a couple more questions and we'll wrap up.
Okay.
I always ask my guests, okay, books. What's one really cool book that you could recommend?
Okay. So a book that literally changed my life, Extreme Ownership. Jocko Willink. I can't remember the co-author's name, but it was his co-commander written by 2 former U.S. Navy SEALs. I thought I was going to hate this book. I started listening to it. I did Audible on this one, started listening to it, and I thought, oh my goodness, there's no way I'm going to make it through this military book. I mean, I just won't be able to make it. I listened to it for like 5 hours straight. And had to get out of the car and be out of the car for a couple of days. I could not wait to get back in the car and finish it.
Oh, wow.
It was just truly, I was captivated by everything that they talked about. Will change your life as a business owner and help you to really think about what it means to be a true owner, to have ownership of something.
Yeah, that's cool. That sounds like an awesome book.
It's a good book.
All right. What's one bit of life lesson or guidance you'd like to share?
Don't be afraid. That's what I say. Just go for it. There's nothing too ridiculous, just try it. Especially people who are afraid of, networking or speaking, or just try the value pricing.
Yeah.
Try something new, change. You know what, guys, you can always change it back. You don't have to keep doing something forever. Just go for it. Like, put your fears aside. Like, I think it was Dr. Wayne Dyer who said, I have it written down. He says, we fear what we don't face, and that fear controls us.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Awesome. Well, I've enjoyed our conversation immensely, Susan. How can people connect with you? What's the best way to connect with you online?
Best way to find me is on LinkedIn, Susan Bryant. Or find us on our website, mbgcpa.com. Connect with me there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Brandon.
Thanks for listening to the Accountant's Flight Plan podcast. If you like what you heard today, please follow us so that you can get updates when new episodes are released, and share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. You can also follow Poe Group Advisors on social media. Please visit our website for more information at pogroupadvisors.com.